Hey guys, miss you. Today I'm going to share some informational writing that I tried out. Something that I feel like I'm an expert on, at least I think I am, is knot tying. So today I'm going to write about that. An informational piece could be an all about book, a how to do something book. You decide. After this, I challenge you to write your own. Before I got started, I followed the writing process. I thought of an idea, knot tying for me. Then I told it. In this case, I went the table of contents method and planned out each part that I was going to write. Then I wrote, and finally I revised and edited my piece. So I felt like it was ready to share with the world. This is my introduction. I'm going to state my topic and try to hook the reader. Over the years, I've learned a lot about knots. Knots are really cool. I always feel great when I know how to tie a knot on the spot. Knots are also really important for safety. For example, if your shoe isn't tied with the right knot, you could trip and fall. If you tie your boat to shore and it doesn't stay, you could be stranded. Knowing a few good knots can make a big difference in your life. Part 1. Everyday knots. Be on the lookout for details, steps, tips, facts, and lingo that I use to show that I'm an expert on the topic in these parts. See if you can spot them. Everyday knots. There are lots of knots that people use every day. Did you know that most clothes are technically made of little knots? A common one is the knot people use at the end of a string for sewing or to stop beads from falling off. Another one is the bow we use to tie our shoes. Here's how to tie your shoe. 1. Cross the string by making an X. Bring the front string's end under the X. Pull tight. Make 2 bunny ears. In rope lingo, this is called a bite. 3. Repeat step 1. Imagine that each bite is like one string. Cross the ears, bring the front one under the X, and pull tight. There are lots of variations. Here's one that Mrs. Fry taught me. 1. Cross the string by making an X. Bring the front string's end under the X. Pull tight. 2. Repeat step 1 again, but don't pull quite as tight. 3. Take the ends of each lace and retrace its steps. Get the little loops a little smaller than you will want them. 4. Pull the loops tight. Now is a great time to practice tying your shoes. This is a knot you could use every day. The next part I wrote about is called sports knots. There are lots of knots that aren't used every day, but are really important in certain sports and jobs. For example, the fisherman's knot and fly tying knots can connect tiny pieces of fishing line. The figure 8 knot can secure a rock climber. A bowline can reliably tie a boat to shore. Here's how you do a bowline. 1. Hold the end of the rope. 2. Make a little loop. Make sure that the loop rests on the top of the straight part. 3. Take the end closest to you. Poke it up through the little loop, go around the back of the straight part, and go back down the loop. The saying is, a rabbit goes up through its hole, around the tree, back down the hole. Pull tight. The point of this knot is that it will not come undone, grow, or shrink with tension. Now you know a useful knot. The next part I wrote about is called untying knots. Learning knots can help you avoid a tangled mess. Generally, knots you know are easily undone. However, tangles happen. When it does, I recommend finding one of the ends. Then you can follow the path that it took backwards. Sometimes twisting the rope a little bit helps too. This takes patience. Slow and steady. Don't just pull wherever or you'll end up with a really hard to undo knot. Now I'm going to say my conclusion. This is where I wrap up my topic and invite you to learn more. Conclusion. Learn your knots. I often wish I knew even more cool knots. Use my guide to learn these ones. Now I challenge you to teach us what you know. It could be anything, how to do something, all about something. You can even challenge us to try your steps. I look forward to learning something new from you. Bye, guys.